amazing. Tastes like a chocolate bar. One second. That was good. Kevin says my sister's had so many of those Beanie Babies growing up. Dude, my sister too. She had a ton. My mom would get me them because I was still a little bit young when they came out. I'd be like, ah, you know, they're cool or whatever. I wasn't like, thanks for the trash, mom. Like, I think my mom, like, she liked them more than I did, so I was like, oh yeah, thanks, mom. Some of them are like, are kind of cute, you know. Kevin says, yeah, I had a few as well, but they had dozens. Exactly, yeah, I had like 2 or 3. They turned into like wall ornaments, you know, or not wall. I didn't pin them up on my wall, like crucified on my wall, but they turned into, they'd sit on my CD player. Because, you know, I had a CD player. The 5-disc changer, boys. With the 2 big speakers. My grandma got me that CD player for Christmas. That was back before everybody had headsets, you know, to play games. So I'd have that CD player playing up in my room while I was playing MUDs, multi-user dungeons. I don't even know when I started using the headphones. That was probably not till 2005 or 6. The Panasonic 5 CD changer. Yeah, exactly. Wait, don't go. We need Lich. Dang, we got all greater. We got greater Spurbone, greater Plaguebone. 2 greater Plaguebones. I am not gonna 2v1 this. I still remember when my ex's kids showed me that YouTube had music on it. I was like, how are you guys listening to that? And they were like, oh, there's this thing called YouTube. And I'm like, what is that? You don't have to download those songs? Because I was used to Kazaa and Napster. I was the OG Napster guy. Hashtag I was there. And then they showed me that and I was like, no way. I can listen to whatever song I want. Whenever I want. And I don't have to download it? Bro just interrupted me. Kevin says, yeah, before they got shut down, we ought to switch to LimeWire. See, you didn't have to switch to LimeWire. Could have switched to WinMX. Which was way better. WinMX didn't have any of that other crap. It didn't have all the viruses, too. Damn, this guy's way up there in health. I gotta start working on him or they're gonna be all broken up. Yeah, WinMX was super easy to use, didn't have all the weird viruses. I totally remember I got a virus from LimeWire, or it was Kaza. Kevin says I never had any issues with LimeWire. Usually it was only people trying to download stuff they probably shouldn't be. No, not me, man. I never, as a teenager, I never did that, I swear. I would never have looked for adult material on there. Kevin says, I remember there was someone who used to troll downloads on there and would somehow get them to the top of the list. Oh, I didn't know there was a list. It would always be the Bill Clinton, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. Could you imagine how that whole thing would have went if... What if he just came out and he was like, yeah, I got a blowjob, so what? What are you gonna do? I almost think it would have been better. Like, he might have gotten people on his side or whatever. Kevin says, well, he had to deny it because it took place in the Oval Office. It did take place in the Oval Office. That's true. That's a little bit of a kicker. I could see where that could be like... But then he could have just been like, yeah, I did it in the wrong place. Sorry. Hillary's always up my ass whenever I go home, so... I feel like once we have millennial and younger presidents, that's the way political hearings are going to be. People are just going to be totally blunt and straightforward. Time for a new untranslated original soundtrack. Oh, they don't have this one. This one's not on YouTube. Oh. Ooh, this one's on they have the PC Engine soundtrack. I don't want to listen to that. Not really big on those PC Engine. Damn, this is tough. Oh, nobody has dumped these soundtracks to YouTube. Kevin says he's so funny now. Every function he shows up at, he's either falling asleep or staring at asses. He's got, how old is he? He's got to be ancient now. $77. You know, that's sad that he is younger than the people who are running for president or are president. Joe Biden's 81. Donald Trump is 77. These aren't levels, folks. They're not more powerful. They're legislating for technology that they don't understand or comprehend. Dianne Feinstein, she just died, right? Yeah, she died last year. She was another one. She was freaking 90 years old, and she served up until the day she died. I'm gonna give Dianne Feinstein a little bit of props, man. I read this was in 2016. She actually had introduced legislation for drones, for drone technology, that was surprisingly lucid and understanding of it. I think the reason why is because drones are not hard to understand. But I remember reading it and I was like, okay, like you get it. But airplanes have been around forever. However, you know what hasn't been around forever? AI. You know what's really scary is people are posting these pictures on Reddit of AI art or AI generated images that are very clearly AI, that have millions of people thumbs upping, hearting, whatever, reacting to. Now I'm gonna guess at least a portion of those are bots. That's not concerning. What's concerning is the portion that isn't bots. These are people who are looking at images that are very clearly not real, and they're going, oh, that's great, and sharing it. We're in for some weird shit, man. I feel like younger people, we look at it and immediately we're like, oh yeah, that's bullshit. But we've been raised in a world where everything on the internet is a lie, everything on the internet is fake, and so we're overly skeptical. But the Nigerian prince generation is still alive. Like, the people who originally got scammed by the Nigerian prince are just, they're now in their 80s. And they're still doing it. They're still being scammed. Kevin says the level 81 president is LFG. What class would Donald Trump be? EverQuest. We'll do EverQuest first, and then we can switch over to WoW. Berserker? Classic EverQuest, okay. I don't know anything about new EverQuest classes like Berserker, although I can judge a lot by the name. There's probably not much there to it. Dang, that's a tough one. Kevin says, I don't know either. Let's see. Probably a bard. Because he just goes from place to place, getting things to mindlessly follow him. Trump's a bard. Joe Biden is a cleric. Because he sits... I'm gonna have to be very respectful because of my job, right? Let's just say he sits for long periods of time, and then he stands up and does one thing. Ophion says he would definitely be, I won't say that out loud, bard running around hogging all the mobs and racking up the cash. Yeah, we're equal opportunity here, by the way. Anybody that's watching, I'm like this close to being apolitical. I have really no... I have no allegiance. I'm a swing voter. They buy and sell me. They gotta sell me on it. I wish more people were like that. I wish more people were like, well, wait a minute, what does this person actually stand for? Kevin, I'm the same way. Kevin says I hate both sides about the same. There's so much like... Hold up. Jerk. There's just so much disappointment. It's like AAA games, politicians. That's like peanut butter and chocolate. They just the same go together. In that they're both equally disappointing. Hopefully when younger people become the primary voting bloc, you can start getting people in that are fed up with being scammed by both sides. Yeah, speaking of bard, a stupid werewolf bard just ran by. I was trying to like, good thing I've killed these guys right now so he doesn't try to take my camp into his swarm. Kevin says, hopefully everyone is completely apathetic at that point. Well, yeah, just be like, what are you gonna actually do? Like, what do you... Don't give me your elevator speech that you give to everybody. What do you actually care about? That's really hopeful thinking, though, because unless there's a huge change in how things work, and I'm not just saying here in the United States, but in the world, and how people approach their world, which I don't think will happen, businesses are going to continue to control a majority of what actually goes on. And profits will continue to drive political decisions. Like, I'm getting kind of existential here, but one thing I would love to see is humanity as a whole, this is just very idealistic and I get it, be like, you know what? What if we stop paying for so much weaponry and we just grew some damn food and built some houses? I know it's never gonna happen. I'm not like one of those people who's like, I don't know, what's the right word? Disillusioned? Maybe that's not the right word. Gullible? Like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, yeah, man, all we have to do is this and this, and then the world's gonna be perfect. Like, no, it's not gonna be perfect. Let me tell you guys what I think. I think if you put an AI, and once AI gets good enough, you put an AI in charge of the world economy, and you set a benchmark of like, this is what the lowest standard of living should be in 500 years for the individual. So if I am the poorest person in the world, this is what the minimum standard is going to be for me. And then just let it run. And it's over 500 years, so guess what? If I'm a billionaire, they're not coming after me with guns and taking my money today. Like, it's gonna squeeze, it's gonna shrink. And then you set an upper standard too, and you can be like, hey, if you're here, we're only gonna bring you down to here. But we're gonna bring the people that are so low, I can't even put my arm down there, up to here. You're still gonna be more wealthy than them. We're just not gonna have babies starving anymore. And tough shit and AI is gonna do it. Never gonna happen, but plus AI can't even put fingers on people right now, so that's a long ways out. I'm actually glad AI can't put fingers on people though, because I can still tell what's real and what's fake, but it's getting very close, and it's scary because in probably a year there will be no way to tell. And honestly, I need to stop putting my face on here. It's like, there's so much of me out there at this point. There's 100 videos of me doing this. They could fake the crap out of me. There you go. I need to be a VTuber or whatever. I'll turn this little cassowary into my VTube. Kevin says, what could go wrong? Well, the AI could realize that it's competing with us for resources and completely destroy us. A guy from chat says, I think one of the main problems is that our most of our systems of economy, politics, social, and spirituality require growth. Yeah, the growth over everything else is not a good mindset. There needs to be a point where someone can say, we've made enough money this year. Like, that's not a hard concept. There needs to be a point where people go, yep, that's enough. And now we're going to show our customers some gratitude. The people who helped us get here, we're going to do something nice for them. And it's all math. You could be like, hey, out of 11 months of this year, we made X number % more than we did last year. So rather than push it through for that 12th month and go up again in yearly end over end profit, we actually invested in 2 apartment buildings in our major cities that support us, and we now have a homeless outreach program there, and we made the same amount of money this year, and we gave back to the communities that supported us. Thank you. God bless you. Have a good night. Here's the thing though, you do that and the board or whatever, the shareholders are gonna fire you because you didn't make more money than last year, and they're gonna find the conniving little rat that's gonna go twice as hard in the paint next year and change all your hamburgers out to be made with dog meat so that you can make an extra 6 cents per patty, right? No, wait, I don't want you... yeah, you can be rude there, I don't care. Guy from chat says, we made as much money as we did last year. That is as much as we've ever made every year. Great job. We build no new living space in the city in the last 50 years because we don't need more growth. I'm not saying I'm like a saint here, but I've gotten to the point where I start seeing the same homeless people around my neighborhood almost as kind of like my neighbors. And so when I see them, I'm like, yeah, here's $5. You need it more than me. You're my neighbor, so you look like you're struggling. I don't have a lot to give. I could probably give more, actually. To be 100%, I could give more. Guy from chat says our society doesn't allow for this. I mean, it allows for it. People just, it's not part of their value set. That's why I'm not a business owner, a big business. This is why I'm not a Fortune 500 CEO. Among other reasons. I'm sure I'm like, that's like being like, this is why I'm not an NFL player, but you guys get what I'm saying. I couldn't be. I'd just be like, yeah, what are we doing? We don't need this. Yeah, this is the only reason, guys. This is why I choose to stream on Twitch to 8 people instead of running a Fortune 500 company. It would be that easy. It's so simple. For real though, I'd be like, you know what, like, why are we doing it like this? I could be the bodybuilding world champion, but I don't want to be bulky. Yeah. Just doesn't interest me, guys, that's all. Oh no. The beast is broken loose. Alright, well we just dinged 80%. This is not the most interesting and engaging camp I've ever done, but I'm glad you guys are here to keep me company. I do appreciate that, sincerely. Because without the viewers on Twitch, I would not be able to do this. I would be bored to death. Yeah, no, for real. I don't know why it's such a novel, or not novel, such a difficult thing. I remember when I was in Italy, I was getting paid like $105 a day just to be there. And don't be angry about that, right, your congressman? But I literally was like, dude, this is more money than I've ever been paid in my life. And actually took a portion of it and sent it to both my mom and my ex's mom just to show some like gratitude. So I can only imagine, you know, if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't have $1 billion. I would figure out how much I needed to live comfortably for the rest of my life. I would invest a good portion of it, and then I would start a non-profit and try to give back. That way when I die, I can be like, you know what? I did my part to make the world a better place. I'm not really a big proponent of generational wealth either. I feel like it's just it's like a trap for some people. Like there's people out there who have never worked and will never work. And the only reason why is because somebody 3 or 4 or 6 generations, whatever, before them owned X, Y, or Z mercantile company or oil company. Skiff said from the moment they are born, yeah. Life should be a untwinked run, guys. It doesn't have to be a solo run, it doesn't have to be solo self-found, but it should be untwinked. You can't just log into life and get handed billions of dollars. Skiff said they grow up naive. Guy from chat said, would be great if you didn't need the generational wealth to be set. Yeah, like you almost... Maybe not set, I don't know. It's insane to me that people are still starving in 2024. Like, that is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Guy from chat says, more ketchup gear. The thing is, here's where I get, like, my ethical dilemma. Is, like, at that point, though, where if you're saying, no, you can't give money to your children, or no, you can't give money to your, generational, like... Dude, I've had too much caffeine, I can't even think. You know, the people in your family. Like, who gets to decide that, and how do they get to decide it, and how much do they get to decide for? Because, like, at the end of the day, if you were to do wealth redistribution, that is essentially, like, theft. If you were to go and just be like, nope, you have too much money, I'm taking this money, and I know what to do with it better than you do, so you have to give it to me, or you can go to jail, that's, like... That's also scary. And so, one of the things I've always said is, when people buy into a system, or they promote a system that has too much power, they may be okay with it today because they're not the recipient of the judgment, right? So when people are like, yeah, eat the rich, take all the money away from the rich, like, that's great when you're not the rich, but whenever you give the government that much power, and then they could just as easily turn it back on you later. Wait, I didn't want that. So it's a fine line to walk, right? That's where I'm just idealistic, and I'm like, I wish people would just do this without being forced to do it. I wish people would just be like, yeah, I'm rich enough. And I'm sure there are people that do that. Don't get me wrong. My girlfriend went to this, like, Japanese corn dog place and sent me a picture. Looks good. Kevin says, take all the money from the poor now. I feel like that's kind of what's going on with the with taxes. Like, people get the crap taxed out of them, and then there's people that don't pay any in taxes that make more money. Or so I'm told. I'll be honest, I haven't, like, gone into a whole lot of research on it, but... Skiff says, I'm not rich, I'm working class, and I've earned my wealth. Whether it is enough, we will see. No, no, stop. Go kill that guy. Move to Monaco? Isn't that where they have the race car? Don't they do races there? Dang, this dude's getting beat up. F1. Tax haven? All the rich live there? Dudes, I read about this country that made all their money off of bird shit. It was called Nauru, kind of like the Naru from WoW, but spelled differently. And apparently their economy was heavily based on bird shit. I don't know how that works, but it worked for them. And then when the bird shit market dried up, they moved to like mining, and they mined way all their resources up. And then that dried up. And when that dried up, they moved to like... They invested in a musical about like Abraham Lincoln or something. And it flopped. Like, and it was made by some guy who was in a rock band from the UK. And now the country is basically completely broke. Oh, it's made up. Oh, the musical was called Leonardo. It was about Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo, A Portrait of Love. And it was it was a Australian musician. Imagine being so desperate as a country that you're investing in a musical about Leonardo da Vinci. From like a rock star. Like, that's your government doing that. This isn't some eccentric billionaire going, yeah, I'm gonna do this. That's so funny. It's actually not that funny. Sounds like the musical from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I don't remember that movie. Actually, I remember one thing about that movie, and I'm not going to say it on stream. But you know what I'm talking about. Soundtrack is trash. New soundtrack. Hanjuku Hero 2. You better be good. Okay, this says, according to YouTube, underrated game music. Whew, I feel like I'm in freaking purgatory out here. I've done nothing but play video games for the last 2 days, and I'm like... I feel like I should be doing something else. But my schoolwork is done. I have 2 degrees. I'm in good shape. I guess I should just enjoy it. The guy from chat says, Norway's government also have a big fund from natural resource exploitation, they invested it in not a musical. Currently worth 1.6 trillion. Dude, so a lot of people are like, man, I won the lottery by being born in America, and I say no. You won like a decent scratch off that could be worth some money, or maybe not, depending on what demographic you are. If you were born in Norway, holy shit. I got a buddy who's Norwegian, and the stuff he tells me, I'm like, he's like, yeah, our government's not really left or right leaning, and it just does things that make sense. And I'm like, what the hell? That's a thing on Earth right now? He's like, yeah, anytime any like one party gets too out of line, they usually just get brought back in. They get brought back in line. Like they have their crazies. You know, they have their Anders Breiviks and whatever. Probably ultra radical leftists too. Yeah, Norway, dude, like, other than Russia being right there, which is an issue, but not an issue, sort of. This is not a good soundtrack. If every Norwegian got their share of that fund, they would get 290 grand. What are they saving it for? He just had a pretty serious back surgery, didn't pay a dime. His work gave him 3 months off, no questions asked. They're like, yeah, we care about you, so come back healthy because we know you're going to work harder and be healthier and more productive whenever you come back healthy. Guy from chat says it's their national pension fund. Kept giving him a salary too, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, follow that under things that will never happen in America. Unless you're in the military. You have to volunteer to get your limbs blown off. Abducted by terrorists. You have to like do all that in order to collect a salary while you're sick. There might be a few companies out there, but I feel like our system is built on old ideals of employers actually doing these things without having to be told to do these things. And now that employers no longer do them just because they care, they're like, there's nobody telling them you have to do this. So they're like, oh, cool. You mean I can fire this guy without a reason and just hire somebody for half the salary? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna pay him to get his cancer taken care of. I don't care that he has 3 kids and his wife's disabled. Skip says we have free healthcare here in the UK, but it's been exploited a lot and wait times are catastrophic. Ugh. I think that's what people in America are afraid of whenever they vote against nationalized healthcare. They're afraid of it being, and I'll be honest, like I don't blame those people. Look at how shitty everything else is that the government does. You mean to tell me they're going to do any better with healthcare? Spoiler alert, they're not. Yeah, they're afraid they're going to get the pants crapped off, or the pants crapped off them. I have caffeine toxicity right now. I shouldn't have drank that tea. They're gonna get the pants taxed off them. And then they're not gonna have good health care, and they're gonna have to go to the private market with even less money. Skip says we have bad problems with tourists. Had bad problems? Has that been fixed? Coming over to get free healthcare? Skiff corrected himself. He said have. We still have that problem. That is unfortunate. Not enough nurses because the pay is shit. I think America's headed that way too. The stuff... excuse... Damn. The stuff that I read about that nurses have to deal with and the amount they get paid is concerning. Same with teachers. You guys see those TikTok videos of teachers whose students are not even like paying attention? Or like their students are fighting them? Like teachers are getting their asses kicked by big students? If I was one of those teachers, I'd be in jiu-jitsu if I could afford it, which they probably can't. They probably can't afford the jiu-jitsu lessons. If I was in the teachers union, I would lobby for jiu-jitsu lessons for all teachers. Oh no, one of them died while my pet was still my pet. This greater plague bone was a Chad. Guy from chat asked, do nurses ever have good conditions? Probably not. Same thing with EMTs. I've heard EMTs, like, especially with the drug problems that we have, are like horrible. That's a horrible working environment. And those people get paid trash. EMTs make nothing for what they have to deal with. It's insane to me, dude. These people are providing a public service. They should be paid better than a lot of people. They should be paid better than me. Skip says the thing that also people remember over here is during COVID, there was loads of TikTok videos of nurses doing dance routines. Yeah, the nurses shot themselves in the foot with that, dude. And posting online while people were dying. Yup, I agree. That was so stupid. Like, I get it. You're trying to keep your spirits up. There's a way to do that without delegitimizing your profession. It's like military dudes. Like, look guys, you guys know I'm military. I'm not gonna sit here and stream for you in uniform, for one. I'm not gonna make a video of me in uniform doing a stupid dance, for two. Three, I try not to do anything on here that would like discredit my country or my profession. Like, do I swear a little bit? Yeah. Do I get a little bit frustrated? Yeah, but I'm allowed to be salty. I'm not allowed to be unprofessional. I would show anybody any one of these videos. Salty doggy. We're all salty. We're, you know, military, we're all salty. You're not salty. You haven't been you haven't been in the military long enough. No, I'm happy with my job, man. I do pretty good. Thick-skinned. Try to be. Usually I'm like my own worst critic. Somebody can tell me they're disappointed in me. If I know that I've done my best, then I'm not disappointed in myself. But when I know that I didn't do my best, that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm more down on myself than anybody else could be. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. When you're hard on yourself, you tend to get better. Like you're not like you're not just stuck in a like a positive feedback loop where you're like, no, I'm perfect, I can like I'm the best there is. You know, some people that's their whole life, that's their whole mentality. Everyone else is wrong, it's not me, it's never my fault. Like, those people are very frustrating to deal with. And then you can be kind of on the other extreme where everything is your fault, but I try to like land somewhere in the middle where I'm like, okay, this is what I had control over, this is what I didn't, this is what I could have done better, this is what I'll do next time. Skiff64 says Brits are well known for sarcasm and some people don't get it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. My old boss for one of the jobs I had right before I joined the military was a British Royal Navy guy. Royal Navy Chief Stoker. He was a Chief Stoker. He served in the Falklands. He was on a ship. His ship didn't get bombed, but his ship was next to another ship that did get bombed. So they could hear, like, they were all in the hold, like, down below, life vests on, huddled up, while the ships around them were getting bombed. And they had friends that lost their lives during that time. And then, I didn't find this out. I don't know if I want to say this on stream. I'll just say he had to go ashore and witness some of the devastation and help with some of the devastation, and it was not good for him. It was not healthy. Let's say that. And then it's not like his fault. Anybody is going to react that way when they're faced with some of the stuff that he told me. Dudes, the Falklands had this like group of freaking rangers or whatever that defended a manor house or something for like hours against the Argentinians. Skiff says, yeah, we lost a few ships, one destroyer, but Sir Galahad, the landing craft, was the worst. Yeah, I've watched documentaries on it, but I don't remember all of the details. I do remember seeing that there were some very devastating losses, though, from the Navy. This has to be the most generic-looking JRPG I've ever seen. That screenshot could be a screenshot from like 50 different JRPGs. The hair on the guy is like the typical anime Chrono Trigger hair. It looks like it was made in RPG Maker. Skip64 says HMS Sheffield got hit with Exocet while shielding the carriers. That's right. Wasn't that one of them did such a good job defending the others that there was like way less losses or something, if I remember right. Skip says, I think there was another destroyer as well. Kevin says maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't made in RPG Maker. That is entirely possible. Skiff says, well, they had a limited supply of Exocets. What is a Exocet? Also, I love this soundtrack. This is one of my favorite Super Nintendo soundtracks, so... After all those other crappy ones, I figured I would play a good one. Because this one's one of my favorites. I don't know why. I'm like repeating myself because I've had too much caffeine. Air-to-sea missile. Exocet is an anti-ship. Oh, that's right. It's like a torpedo or whatever. They drop in the water and then it goes... Yeah. Like drops in the water and then deploys some wings and goes flinging towards a ship. Some scary shit, dude. Those guys are super brave to be out there dealing with that. Oh, it skims across the water. Very low level. Fire and forget. Oh no, my mana skin's worn off. Skiff, you do know your history. I mean, it's understandable. The Falklands, like... I guess Great Britain or the UK was involved in Iraq and Afghanistan as well, but I feel like that was obviously your guys' thing. The Falklands was, and so a lot of people remember that from what I understand. Yeah, it's a big part of your history. Like, I feel like in America we've had so many damn wars, and like most Americans are history illiterate already to begin with, and they just don't care. They're just like, yeah, it's a war, I don't know, it happened in the 1550s or something, dude. And they couldn't tell you why, like, any one of those wars was significant, or what the cultural impacts were, or what the... You know, what was important about it, or why it's relevant today. Skiff says the US helped a lot. They gave Sidewinders for the Harriers. Huh, I didn't know that. Makes sense. Gotta help out the Brits, man. I'm glad the UK and America get along, even though a long time ago there was... I think I remember reading about some sort of issue between, like, the US and the UK, like in the 1560s or like 1300s or something. I don't know, I'm an American, so I don't really know anything about history. But I think, like, this guy George, or they were like really mad about this guy George or whatever. I watched a musical about it. He like sings and dances and prances around a little bit. I'm not sure why they didn't like him, but he said like you'll be back or something, but they never came back. It's weird. 18th, oh yeah, the 18th, so like the 1800s, right? that's the 18th century. That's right. I forgot about that. I think it was like after the Civil War or something. I'm totally trolling, Skiff. Wait, you should get the sarcasm. You're British. You gotta get the sarcasm. I think it's freaking wild that that the UK came back to settle the score in 1812 and like almost did. Like, people forget about that shit, dude. Like, the War of 1812, like, did they sack the White House or something? Oh wait, the US, see, here's where I'm failing. The US declared war on Britain? So we started it? And it lasted for 3 years? That's probably, yeah, that's true. There was the British presence in the North America lasted for a lot longer than people realize. I remember watching a documentary about the Oregon Trail, and all of that territory up there where they were headed was British territory. And the idea, the typical American idea was like, if we just move enough people there, they'll just give up the territory, and that's exactly what happened. Skiff says, we kicked the French out and the French Canadians are still bitter. No kidding. When did Britain officially leave North America? (1907) That's insane. Yeah, and your guys' history goes way back with the French. But what's really bizarre to me is when those things were happening, when these, even all the way up to World War I, when those countries were fighting, they were literally fighting, the leaders were fighting with their, like, cousins and uncles and shit. Like, in World War I want to say Kaiser Wilhelm was the cousin of the monarch in the UK. As well as in Russia, the Tsar's wife was related to like all of them. They were all related. That's so crazy. I feel like I wouldn't be able... They must have felt so above the regular people to the point where they were like, yeah, I'm willing to have all these people that live under my rule go kill and die against people that live under the rule of my cousin. Like, I can't call my cousin up and be like, hey, you want to have a beer and hash this out? So, oh my gosh, I gotta grab some water. Tsar Nicholas II. So, like, one of the craziest things I know about Tsar Nicholas is that he had a birthday party or some sort of celebration, maybe it was a wedding. And people, there was a human crush because they thought they were going to get free food and free... Oh, there was... somebody started a rumor that there was like a gold coin in each of these cups. He commissioned these cups for his little party. And somebody started a rumor that there was going to be money in the cups. And people were literally crushed to death trying to get these cups. And they just kept going. Like, oh shoot. Oh no, I forgot to put on mana skin. Like, Tsar Nicholas was like, yeah, clean this stuff up, we got a party to do. We're not gonna let a few dozen people, women and children, crushed to death, ruin our little royal soiree. No, sir. That's probably the best thing that came out of World War I was the fact that they, like... the European populace stopped trusting these royals and stuff, or like... maybe it wasn't they just stopped trusting them, but... it diminished their power. Oh, I know why I don't have any mana. I didn't use Lich. Oh, Drachnid. Skiff says, I just logged on my druid on green. You're like fiending, man. Level 15. Well, I kind of botched this, and now I don't have the mana to really effectively finish all of these guys off. So I'm trying to meditate mid-fight here to get some mana back to be able to do this. What are you going to do at level 15 in Kinos? Oh, you chose human? Why would you do that? Fashion? Damn, man, you're dedicated. Oh my gosh. I need to finish these dudes. They're gonna be kind of broken up, but Yeah, both of these are like at 50% health. I'm just gonna have to let them be broken up because I'm really low on mana because I didn't lich myself before I started. You have 300 plat somehow? That's cool. I guess if push comes to shove and one of these breaks, I could always charm it. But yeah, I totally screwed this up. Skiff says I did farm a lot of wisps. Nice. Oh, come on. Really pushing low on the mana here. There we go. That one's down. So wait, you got a druid to 60 on blue. And then you turned around and rolled a druid on green? I don't know if I know anybody that loves druid as much as you. Kevin says, sounds terrible. Yeah, like... I feel like druid, playing a druid is just one of those necessary evil things. Where, like, you just do it because you need somebody to teleport. Skip says, I'm just hoping for merge. So you can have 2 druids? So you can play with friends. Dude, if this takes any longer, I'm gonna end up with a respawn. Like, this is so scuffed. Also, it's snowing up here. That's interesting. I've never seen it snow in the Dreadlands. I should hit you up, Skiff, and see if you could take me to Kerns on a character on blue and like power level something up. I feel like you can get 1 to 20 in Kerns in like 3 or 4 hours. Less than that? Dude, this guy's got so much health. Oh my gosh. Kerns and Unrest, yeah, I had a friend do that for me back in the day. Holy smokes, thank God that's over with. I'm just gonna chill. And get all my mana back and all my health back. You get the fireplace camp and it's so quick and you don't get aggro in wolf form. Wow. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I don't even know what I would level though. It would have to be a character that could solo. Because you ain't getting no leveling group on blue. I went around one day to all the common leveling spots on blue trying to get footage for a YouTube video, and I found like no groups. It was terrifying. I was like, this is honestly the saddest thing I've ever seen. There was one group doing high pass hold or whatever, getting Shralik packs. There was a duo in Unrest. There was nobody in Crushbone. Crushbone was completely empty. So I feel like if you got on blue and you didn't know what you're doing and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make a new character. I've never played this before. And you happen to roll on blue, that would be terrible. I just wish I could copy Mr. Best Friend over to blue. Skiff says Druid Life sewing people outside Kinos. There are actually people there? Like, that's what I find surprising. Seven in zone? Holy smokes. Is blue undergoing a resurgence? Oh, you're on green. Oh, that's right, you're on green. Never mind. Yeah, that makes sense. There's still people leveling on green. There's not a lot. We need a new server. We need a new server so everybody can leave green and I can have all the camps I want. That way all the pixels will be mine. We're at 84% though, guys. We're making it. I've only been doing this for like 8 hours today. I don't feel good about that, but I'm doing, you know what? I'm doing what I gotta do. If I'm still sitting here when Neutral Rockets wakes up, then that could be a problem. Skiff says committed. Basically, I've just died so many times on 53 that I was like, you know what, I need to power through this. or it's never gonna happen. Like I've been feeling really stalled out at 53. At one point I was like, no, the spells are a priority, I'm gonna farm spells. Everything else is secondary. And then I died like 5 times and realized that I could be level 54 with probably a good chunk into 54 if I hadn't died so many times. And at that point I decided I needed to prioritize levels again. Because at the end of the day I just need to make it to 60. And there's probably camps I could do even now. They would just get slower and slower as I level, but there's camps I could do all the way up to 60 right now. Skiff says, feels weird playing after playing Dark Age. You're like, wait, why am I not extremely animated? The character animations in Dark Age are so good for that game being that old. Those are such good animations. I just don't like the PvE in Dark Age. The PvP is fun. Yeah, the combat is fun. But the PvE just feels so lifeless. I'm struggling to think of a good example or why I feel that way. It's just kind of like the quests are just like not really there. The setting, all the areas just feel like zones full of mobs that don't really have any real importance. They definitely prioritize the PvP on that game. Skip says the Eden server you can go from 1 to 40 in like 4 hours. Dang, I wasn't that fast. I hit like, oh shoot. You almost killed that plague bone. Yeah, you can level in the battlegrounds, so I do remember leveling really fast in the battlegrounds. And I enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough for me to go back. I don't know what was like missing. Oh my gosh. But it was kind of cool. You just roll into a battleground. And then you would find a group and everybody would do their quests together, and then by the time your quests were done, it was paced really well, I will say that. By the time your quests were done, you were pretty much leveled up to the point where you could go... Dude, how many times is Root gonna break? By the time your quests were done, you could go to the next area. Oh no! I left some loot. The last one is rough. The last battleground is rough. Why is it rough? I gotta take a piss, but I'll read your comment when I get back. Alright, I'm back. Skiff says because people there run Twinks at 49. Damn, with XP off and capped out roam ranks and templated gear. On the one hand, I'm like, damn, they should really do something about that. But on the other hand, I feel like if you put in the time to twink that character, like you earned that. And also, how cool would it be to go 1v8 and win? It's like almost like a boss. Like you're fighting a raid boss at that point. Damn, so I made you want to play EQ and you're making me want to play DAOC. Skiff says endgame RVR is such a cluster. Okay, I don't want to play anymore. It's a cluster. Not playing a cluster. I'm 85% to the level. This is my chore for the day. I gotta do it. I'm not gonna log off and play a different game. I'm gonna get to level 54. Skiff says 11:15 here, you can do it. Yeah, it's only like 5 something where I'm at, so it's not like I'm staying up all night and I'm gonna be a sandbag at work tomorrow. If I hadn't died earlier, we'd be at like 90 some percent. We'd be at like 95. If I hadn't died the 4 times before that, we'd be at 54. And then some. One of the issues that I have too is when you look up guides online for where necromancers should solo at these levels, they never mention Kunark. No one's ever like, yeah, go solo in Kunark, here's a great spot. Skip says, where can I go for XP? Easy XP at 15, maybe bandits? Trying to think how you even level a druid at 15. Like, what do you do? Root rot, kite. Are you still meleeing? Are you still like pulling stuff and just whacking it with a stick? Nuke melee, yeah. So definitely do something that you can like, do you have harmony? If you have harmony, you might be fine doing melee or doing bandits. Maybe North Karana too for the just the roaming mobs. You just have to be careful. Watch out for hill giants and griffins, and then just regular ads. What level can you start charming in Eastern Karana? That I remember that being badass experience. Oh damn, this guy on Reddit says I just did 14 to 24 in East Karana. I did East Karana charming on my druid and I loved it. I remember it was like really fast experience and really easy. I was out at the spot where the as you go up the big pass into Highhold or whatever, that was where I went. Yeah, near the crags. If I remember right, it was snakes. It was snakes and coyotes. I normally hang near the gorge. I'd have to look at a map and see. Yeah, gorge hounds. Yeah, that'd probably be a good spot. You just gotta get to 19 and then you can teleport yourself around. Ah. Oh my gosh, I like hit my security camera button. I hit my show face button. And I almost rooted myself. Shit, my mana skin's off. Skiff says, yeah, 19 would be huge. Yeah. I think it'll go by fast whenever you start charming, if that's what you decide to do. Alternatively, you could see if you can group and crush bone. Can't think of anywhere else. Maybe unrest at that level, although that might be a little bit low. You might be a little low for unrest at 15. I remember one time I was listening to this and somebody was like, "Are you listening to folk music?" Because all they could hear this is Seventh Saga. The Seventh Saga's soundtrack. And all they could hear was the pan flutes, and they were like, "What the hell are you listening to pan flutes for?" The Seventh Saga is one of those rare games where it was actually harder. The North American release was harder than the Japanese release. But when they made it harder, all they did was they did it like really weird. They just buffed a ton of HP. They didn't balance it. They just like added numbers. They just stacked numbers. Like, oh, take all the HP and just double it on all the enemies. And then I think there's a bug or something with how your character's level, or some weirdness with the stat scaling or something. So now the question becomes, after we level to 54, where do we go from here? Where do I go level after this? Do I stay here and just keep getting 1% every 6 minutes? It's probably about every 10 minutes, honestly. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes to kill him. That's 16 hours that I would have to do sitting here in this spot, approximately. And that's also assuming that the experience rate is going to stay the same, which it probably won't. Because the multiplier goes up to 1.9 at 54. Ugh. The Rude, how you doing? The Rud? Are you the Rud or the Rude? Either way is cool. BP key part? Sort of. So I'm solo self-found, I'm Kunark only. I'm level 53, and I'm on the struggle bus as far as where to level. And virtually everywhere that I've gone that I can actually do with my gear and my spells, which are all gear and spells that I've found myself. Sorry, I turned the music up a little bit, now it feels too